What's up, FTFers? The trick that I'm going to show you today saved my life, and maybe someday it'll save yours. You know, in my career, there's been a lot of events that have helped to concrete or solidify what I teach, what I carry, and certainly what I do. One of the disaster scenes that really is close to my heart was the North Carolina fires. I was actually up in DuPont and I was teaching survival at a rescue conference when the call came out, and it was all hands on deck. And so the pagers went off, and me and my partner at the time, we showed up to accountability, and then we went to staging. We got handed our assignment and we took off. Now, when I say North Carolina fires, I don't just mean North Carolina, because those fires, they affected 5 states here in the Southeast, and this was something that we had never had experience with. It caught us by surprise, and there were a lot of lessons learned from this one. The result of those fires was utter chaos, and so many people lost so much over that event. Now, obviously, in an event like that, fire is unpredictable, and it can get so hot in some places that it literally creates its own climate. And so fire is a really tricky thing. So at the time, the agencies that were involved with it, and obviously it was a unified command, and everybody was doing the best that they could. Now, typically what they'll do is they'll close down roads and they'll close down highways, and unless you have, you know, the right plates and badges and uniforms, etc., you're not going down those roads unless you're told to go down there. So me and my partner were on a highway that was closed, and it's kind of creepy when you're riding down a highway and you don't see any cars. And of course, if you've ever been in a forest fire like that, the smell is just, it's something that you'll never forget. And as we were riding down the road, obviously there was smoke everywhere. And eventually that smoke started to saturate in the area that we were, and it got so bad to the point that we literally had to slow down the vehicle because we couldn't see very far in front of the truck. We weren't panicking at that stage. That just meant that we had to slow down, and oftentimes comms are down as well. Now, we did have, you know, our Motorola's and our Kenwoods and our Baofeng ham radios, and when comms go down, I mean, you just use whatever comms you can. I mean, it could be FRS, it could be GMRS, it could be even CB, but we were having trouble talking with command while we were on this road. And the real reason is because we were trying to decide, you know, is it going to get bad enough that we're going to have to make the determination to either turn around or continue going to our destination. It wasn't until the smoke started to creep into the cab of the truck that I started to get really concerned. Now, a lot of people would probably ask, like, where was your fresh air stuff? We didn't have all of that in the truck with us. We were on our way to the scene to get the gear that we needed. There was a moment in the vehicle where we were pushing every button on the dash and trying to figure out, you know, why is the smoke coming in? Obviously, we didn't have it on fresh air. We had pressed recirculation. We turned it off. I had even come out of my seatbelt and was trying to look around because it was coming through the dash. Like, can I find the source of where it's actually coming in? And look, I have no problem telling you that was when the panic started to set in, when I realized this is inevitable and there's nothing I can do about it, and I've got to deal with it right now. And we talk about that quite often on this channel. You don't want to have to depend on any kind of like government agency to come save you. There may come a moment where you have to depend on yourself. And that goes for professionals that work for the government as well. So the question is, what did I do? Now, the trick or tip or hack that I'm about to show you, I had never done this before. It was literally just theoretical and in my head. I had never practiced before. So this is the actual water kit that I had with me at the time in the vehicle. And this thing has been with me all over the US. It has, I don't even know how many hundreds of, if not thousands of gallons that have gone through this thing. This is what I actually had in my bag in the back seat. So I crawled from the front into the back and I got this out. Then what I did was I took the water and I went ahead and I poured it into the canteen cup. And I didn't fill it all the way up. I put about 3/4 of the cup full of water. Now, the next thing I did was I grabbed one of my 2 shemaghs that I had in the vehicle. These are actually the 2 that I had at the time. And I was really, really fortunate because the guy that gave me these, he was actually an active member in the SAS. And this is something that he taught me, I don't know, a couple years before this actually happened. Okay, so the first thing that you do is you fold this in half so that it makes a triangle like this. Now you don't have to wet down the entire shemagh, okay? All you have to do is wet down the middle section of the shemagh. So what I did was I kind of scrunched this up like this, and I pushed it down into the water, and I let the cotton soak up the water. Now I gotta be honest with you, at the time I was spilling water because I didn't take the time to do it slowly like I'm doing right here. I was actually dumping water all over the vehicle at the time. It was on my pants, and I mean, I just gotta be honest with you, I didn't really care at the time. I just knew that I had to get it done. And what you wanna do is you wanna fold this over once, twice, just like this. Now, what you can do is you can put this on your face. And I'm gonna try to do this as quickly as I can to show you how to do it because I won't be able to really talk. What you want is this thick part right here to go over your nose. You want it to go over your nose so that you have a good seal. Now what you want to do is you want to bring out these two ends and you want to pull it really tight. And you're actually going to tie it in the very front underneath your neck. And I tied a square knot in it. Then you want to adjust it and make sure that you have a good seal up against your face, just like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it off so that I can talk to you. Now, what did I do in real life? Well, I'm going to tell you, I made a snap decision. I decided that because my partner was driving the truck, that I should take care of him first. And then I went and took care of mine. In retrospect, I'm not sure if I should have done myself first or if I should have done him first. Technically speaking, in rescue, we always say, don't get monkey butt. If you can't save your own ass, you can't save someone else's. And so you will become part of the problem rather than part of the solution. And so in hindsight, I probably should have put mine on first. I just made that tactical decision to take care of him while we were in the vehicle. And believe me, I mean, we were panicked, and it's real easy to sit in an armchair after the fact and say, well, you should have done this. The other question that I get a lot about this story is, why did you have two? Well, we were issued one shemagh as part of our uniform, but prior to that, I had always carried a twin cotton sheet in my kit because it just provides so much from a first aid perspective. There's so many things that you can do with a twin cotton sheet. And I was trying to lighten up my kit because obviously I've got all of my rescue stuff, you know, all my ropes and, you know, the software, the hardware. I've got all my EMT stuff. I've just got all my survival stuff. So much stuff in the pack, and you know, ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. And this was, you know, just one way that, you know, we could drop some weight. And I decided, okay, since I don't have a twin cotton sheet, if I go to a disaster scene, I should definitely have two. Two is one and one is none. Now, when your adrenaline is pumping like crazy and you're in a situation like that, I can't even begin to tell you how time works. It works differently for different people. For me, it seemed like everything was going 100 miles an hour while it wasn't going anywhere at all. I can remember how wide my eyes were. Oh, and another thing that I almost forgot, part of our swiftwater rescue, in my kit, I actually had some goggles, like some swimmer's goggles. And I don't have those with me. I just literally thought of it right now. But at the time, I put on those goggles with it as well. And I don't know if you've ever had smoke in your eyes, but it really sucks. Now, once you have this on, inevitably it is going to dry out from your body heat and from you breathing as the water evaporates. And all you do is you take this canteen and you kind of waterboard yourself a little bit. You don't have to do it like a ton, but eventually the cotton will soak in the water. Now, the water-soaked cotton, it actually acts as a particulate filter. It's kind of like the old oil bath filters on cars way back in the day. It's the same principle. Now, in an event like that, minutes can seem like hours. And I'm kind of reliving that right now, thinking about it. And I mean, we were really legitimately scared because we couldn't drive fast. And, you know, I mean, visibility was getting worse and worse and worse. And especially when you can't communicate, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, we were a little bit paranoid. Now, they always say it gets darkest before the sunrise, and I gotta tell you, I mean, we had a lot of bad thoughts, and there was, you know, a little while where we weren't even talking to each other. But eventually, we made it out of the smoke because of a wind change. And of course, when that happened, it was, you know, all windows down and we let all of the smoke evacuate out of the truck. And I just cannot emphasize or stress enough the feeling that I had when we got there finally. The moment where I knew we were safe and that we were gonna make it, it is life-changing. Those moments that happen in your life, you will never forget. And that's why I'm so passionate. That's one of the reasons, just one of the many reasons why I say carry a shemagh. I don't even know how many that I've actually literally gone through over my career, but it's been a lot. And it's not just, you know, first aid stuff, or, you know, it's not like the go fast tactical, you know, stuff where people are making wraps over their heads and protecting themselves from sand and wind and all of that. I mean, I don't know how many slings that I've actually made with these, or, you know, how many times I've had to package up a patient using them. I've used them for filtering water. I mean, really, it's up to your imagination. I mean, there are so many things, even firecraft, that you can do with these. And I usually won't go anywhere without one. And the thing is, I have never used that since, not once. But the one time that I needed it, I just thank God that I had it. And we all know that it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So there you have it, guys. I just wanted to take the time to share that with you because it just made such an impact in my life. And I hope that none of you ever have to use that, but you know, you could potentially use this like in your home, and it doesn't have to be a shemagh. Right? As long as you understand the principle behind what I'm actually telling you, you know, maybe it's a bath towels or a t-shirt or whatever it is that you have access to, and, you know, you run to the upstairs bathroom or something and you wet it down and you make an improvised smoke mask with it. You know, I don't know. If it only saves one person, then this video is worth it. So if you're honey smack digging the video, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and until next time, keep fueling those fires.